Well, how come you were talking weather and you ended in Port Harcourt and you got to me? Well, we're going to talk about, we're going to go beyond the weather. So as they said, my colleagues, Kayode and Bukola, we're talking, you know, the digital space. That's what we'll be dealing with in just a moment, because a lot is going on in the world. There is what we call democratization of opportunity. Before the internet came to be, and remember, for those of you who are older, maybe not, netizens may have to leave the room for a moment, but the days we have the likes of Nitel, where you had to queue and wait to make calls, but right now, everybody has a smartphone or a device or the other. Now, beyond just making calls, there's a lot of business online, because it's more like democratizing that opportunity, and that's what we want to talk about today. 2024, we did say, no grief for anybody. We mentioned that in part of what we said on the very first day. For those of you who are Nigerians, I'm sure you understand. So let's come to our guest, who is joining me right here in the studio on the Morning Brief. Great Ufot, she's a digital content creator. Thank you so much for coming on the Morning Brief.
Thank you too. Thank you.
So let's. I know you're a behind-the-scene person, you know. So let's walk through your journey, how you came into becoming a digital content strategist.
Yeah. Okay, so I've always had a passion for writing. I always loved to write. And growing up as a kid, my mom always gave us opportunities to read. She gave us opportunities to stand up and be confident for ourselves. So when I entered university, even though what I studied in university isn't currently what I'm using right now, I knew that writing was something I wanted.
What did you study? Let's start from there.
Microbiology. I studied microbiology, but I knew that writing was something I wanted to go into. So I looked for every means and avenue to write. And my first job was even unpaid. I wasn't paid. I was writing for a magazine, and I was writing for the mental health aspect of it. And when I got back to school, at some point I had to stop, because I was writing and I was still going to school. So when I was done with school, I started looking for a job as a writer, and then I got my first official job as a writer, and that opened doors for me to various aspects in the content industry.
Okay, because you know, my colleagues, they were talking to an expert when it comes to how to land your dream job. So you had to navigate the path to land your own job, and now you're teaching people how to get it done. So let's get to the real business of the strategy you talked about. So what industries have you strategized for in terms of digital content creation?
Health, fashion, tech, and tourism.
So when you're talking to these people, for instance, somebody who is in any of these sectors or beyond this sector, and you're talking to them, they are clients, they are giving you a brief.
Yeah.
What exactly are you looking out for to be able to advise them on how to, make the most of the space?
First, before I have to deal with the client, I need to understand what their brand vision is.
Okay.
What goal are they trying to achieve? What am I coming into their brand to do for them? What impact can I make in their brand? So I have to understand that before I then begin to want to deal with the clients themselves. And understanding that helps me now to strategize in creating that content for them. So, for example, if in the fashion industry, a client wants something on, maybe they're trying to start their brand and they want me to do a video content for them. I'm not just going to do a wishy-washy video content for them. I'm going to ensure that all the styles of their outfit is shown in the best way ever. That people who watch the video are going to be, oh wow, I like this, I want to get this. And then when I have to go into brands whereby I have to write, I want to be able to speak to my audience. I want to be able to, when my audience are reading my own copy, I want them to feel the emotions, because at the end of the day, I realized that 50% of people who write, the emotions get lost. When people read
let's stay there for a moment, because that's a very critical point when it comes to ethos and all of that. So how do you convey, how do you understand the emotion of that particular brand, and how do you convey it in your writing?
So you want to, first of all, like I said, you need to understand what the brand is trying to achieve. And then with that, you're going to, it's just structures. I feel like most people do not, in having to understand what you want to give to a brand, you need to understand what that brand is doing. First of all, you cannot just say because you're a content creator, you just give them anything. You need to ask them the question, what are you trying to achieve? And then with that, you put in the emotions. I feel like one thing that marketing strategy misses these days is empathy, the emotional, the communication of emotions between the brand and the audience. Once a brand misses that emotional communication in the marketing campaigns, then your marketing campaign is just as good as useless.
So I'm going to ask two-pronged question. One is for the person who wants to be behind the scene. There are people that they're not interested in being popular. There are people like that. But they're interested in making others famous. They're interested in writing and promoting people. So if you were to advise such people, how do walk them through the ropes, if possible, in like 1 minute?
Make sure that you are prepared, because you don't know where opportunity would meet you. Do the work, grow. If you need to pay for courses, pay for courses. If you need to speak to people, speak to people. Engage in insightful conversations. One of the things that got me into various industries was just the conversations I had with people. And they somehow had faith in me that I was able to do the work. And I did the work and I didn't disappoint them. So make sure preparation meets opportunity and vice versa. You can't be expecting opportunity and not prepare.
I must thank you so much, Great Ford, digital content creator, for coming on the brief. Thank you so much. Your insights were quite helpful. So every young person out there who wants to create content, I hope you learned one or two things, and at the end of the day, to ensure that in 2024, we did say look for the money and find the money and make the most of the money, because this year, a lot of people say they no go green. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.